Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant. We are streaming live. We have some guests and some coaches to talk to, but second annual broadcast of Sports for Supper. We have a game out there, a challenge out there to name the show, so we're not going to pick a name this week so far because Jared Lucky, one of our hosts, is on vacation in Disneyland, so we will make that choice next week. With that said, I want to introduce Coach Sosa. Coach, tough game last week. Played a team with a lot of speed. What's the positives that come out of the game?
Well, you're right. We knew going into it that Waco La Vega was state ranked, very successful team, and obviously when we got there, you can't simulate speed in practice, that's for sure. But it was a good lesson for us. I think the kids responded well. We got off to a good start. Offensively, we scored and got up on them 8-6, and I thought that that we were going to have a chance against these guys. And we had some opportunities there in the first half, and we kind of squandered them. And I thought that if we'd put some points on the board and kept up with them, it'd have been a different ball game. But defensively, we had a hard time tackling them. They were good. We couldn't stop them the first half. They seemed to have it their way. It seemed like the entire first half, when we came down 19-6, 19-8 at halftime. And for some reason, second half, our offense came out flat, and we kind of didn't respond like we should have. Now the defense came out second half and did well. So that was a positive there. They came out second half and had a couple of three and outs and did well. So I was pleased with the defense then. And again, sometimes when you travel that far and you trying to get used to that game speed. I mean, first game, you just it's different, a different kind of speed. But came out of pretty healthy. The kids learned, I think, a lot. I think we worked on our tackling this week. Obviously, we got to work on tackling every week. Offensively, we moved the ball when we wanted to. We had some turnovers, and they were athletic. So we went back to work this week, and we got another good team coming up, and hopefully lesson learned, and we'll get better from it.
On the offensive side of the ball, there was kind of two plays that kind of dictated the whole game, offensively and defensively. On the offensive side of the ball, Medina Valley had a 4th and 1 deep in Waco territory. Called a timeout. We went on a quick count trying to hit him in the mouth. Unfortunately, Gibson was hit actually before quarterback even handed him the ball.
Exactly. We went to one of our bread and butter formations and plays, unbalanced formation, and break the huddle in a hurry. And unfortunately for us, they broke the line of scrimmage. They blitzed and we didn't pick it up. And James got hit in the backfield. That's one of the few times he lost the yards. A kid that big, we expected to get that 1 yard. So it's lessons learned again. First time, short yard situation kind of thing, and the kids understand that we got to cut down our splits and have our heads up. But again, you play a good team. A lot of times, they reveal your weaknesses and you get to work on them. When you play teams that you run all over, you think you're really good and you don't realize your weaknesses until you play a team and it's too late. So we knew going into it that this game is going to make us a better football team. But again, disappointed in the fact that I thought we had a chance to maybe beat these guys. Really did. We jumped on them, and I felt like our kids, if we would have had some momentum going into it and kept up with them at halftime, I thought it'd be a different ball game. But with that being said, it was time to come back to work and time to get ready for Bernie.
The passing game, the screen pass worked fabulous. 3rd down and long, he threw a screen pass to Gibson. He raced out for 35 yards in a first down. After that play worked, did y'all kind of put that on the back burner and say, okay, we're not going to show that anymore? Because there was kind of situations in the game where you caught them off guard, and when you get a team like that that's got all that speed and they pursue, the draw plays, the screen plays, catch them, off guard, and you kind of hit them where they're not used to.
Yeah, it didn't, just we had quite a few illegal procedure penalties. We kind of shot ourselves in the foot there, and penalties and whatnot. But no, we our playbook's open. We have stuff put in, and it's a matter of you got to get in the flow of calling plays and getting the rhythm, what's working and whatnot. And yeah, we probably could have, hindsight, we probably could have thrown some more screens on them, maybe run a couple of some reverses on these guys that were so fast pursuing. But I mean, again, you learn and you kind of go with what you think can get you there, and you work on those things. But give them credit. I mean, they were quick to the football. That middle linebacker was an all-state linebacker for a reason. Second half, they started pretty much kind of just falling down in the last scrimmage and kind of plugging the holes up in the middle there. I mean, it's kind of hard when you're going three and out. You can't get anything established. But anyway, we'll learn and get better from it.
Yeah, number 52 was definitely
right.
Division something football
gut eater.
Along with number 99, when we ran a couple of sweep plays and number 99 came from one side of the formation to the other and ran down our tailback, we looked at each other and said, "Oh my," it's like you said in the conversation before, the Wednesday before, that there's no substitute for speed, and you can't show it, with your JV trying to play the other team. And what we noticed is they were like watching gremlins. You sprinkle water on them, and all of a sudden, here's number 1 running the ball, here's number 2 running the ball, number 6, and then the quarterback comes back in. But on the offensive side of the ball, you got to be happy with your pass catchers. There were 3 outstanding catches in that ball game where your quarterback threw it where only his receivers could catch it, and all 3 of them got up there and caught the ball. They fought for the ball. So
yeah, we feel like we can throw the ball deep this year. We have some speedsters there and some tall kids, and we completed 4 good passes, and unfortunately for us, they were all for long yardage. But we also threw 3 interceptions, and those are drive killers. We had that one fumble recovery that we didn't take advantage of. We had a chance to come back and put another one on the board, and instead we throw interception too. But that one out route we threw, it was a good pass, but that kid broke on the ball fast. I mean, he was that good. So it's just, again, it's learning experience for us, and I know our kids have gone back to work, and we'll get better.
The defensive side of the ball, one play that I can remember that was really kind of changed the momentum shift is after we turned the ball over on downs. We had them 2nd down and 20, and they run that sweep play, and the defense was there. The play was stopped. And it's what you mentioned, just the lack of wrapping up, those plays. You can name a bunch of them that the X's and O's, y'all had the players in the right position. We just didn't execute the tackles.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those things. They, give them credit for making us look bad. I mean, they put some moves on you. And, again, tackling is the name of the game, and it's something we got to work at every week, and we do, and we'll get better. Our kids understand, and we got to wrap up and get there and gang tackle and that kind of thing. So again, like I said, this team, they reveal some weaknesses and some things we got to work on, and that's what we did this week.
Coach, you gotta have to watch how you teach tackling nowadays too. Now with the new certification rules with the UIL has put in place on you guys, and talk about how tackling now, because back in the day, Coach, we used to say put a hat on somebody.
Right.
And now you have to be careful. You can't really tell them put a hat on somebody anymore, because as we saw on Saturday, with all the ejections that they had in college football, you kind of have to teach a little bit differently. Can you tell us a little bit about how tackling has changed now and how it's taught?
Well, you're right. I mean, back in the day, it was, head across the bow, and then you wrap up that way. Now they're trying to take the helmet out of the contact completely. And, it's one of those things where you may teach it and coach it, but then it's a matter of how do the kids react in the game. I mean, you're still going to end up having to use your head somewhere.
That's why they give you a helmet still.
You got to have a helmet. So it's tough, and the coach is doing the best we can. And of course, kids, I know, whether we tackle or we try to tackle, we miss. Some of those tackles we miss because we're throwing ourselves at them and not wrapping up. You can't just throw and hope they fall down. You got to wrap them up. But again, we work that every week, and we'll just get better.
Yeah, because it used to be used. Sorry, Dwayne, but it used to be don't throw a shoulder in there. Put your hat on them and wrap them up. Well, now it's make sure you make contact with the shoulder. Get your shoulders involved in the game and everything. And it's a completely different style.
It's all about safety is where everything's going to.
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
But, going back to the helmet itself has changed dramatically over the years. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, remember we were using just plastic helmets with leather straps on the inside just to keep the helmet on your head. But that's changed so much. There's so much technology going into the design of helmets right now. Everything's geared about making the sport safer.
Well, everybody's bigger, faster, stronger too,
Yeah.
and times have to change with it, So, Maury, you have any more questions for Coach, or
Yeah, just one
okay?
game plan against the Bulldogs Friday
We
night.
hadn't even talked about the next game.
I've been trying to get to them.
There we go.
I'm trying to get that last game.
Let's waste that one out. Let's not talk about that one anymore.
Yeah, we learn from that and you move on, and that's what we did this week. Our kids came out of it healthy enough, and Bernie again, another state ranked team. They're ranked 10th or 11th in the state. Traditionally, they have a good program, and they won last week I think 47-27 against a number 9 ranked Yoakum team. So they're athletic. They're not as big as they were, I think, last year. Last year on the defensive line, I know they were physical and they pretty much controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. This year they lost some seniors, some good starters, but again, a good quality football team. You're going to see a good spread offense. They got a good running back, Hodo, I think is his name, and the quarterback's got a good arm, good spread game, scheme, big offensive lineman, that kind of thing. Defensively, they got 3 good linebackers. They got a sophomore middle linebacker that's pretty good, and they're a 4-3 looking defense, so similar to what we faced last week. So that's good for our offensive line in preparation. But they're athletic, not as athletic as Waco, and I don't think we'll face another team like that until maybe 3rd, 4th round. But nevertheless, they're coached well. They have a new coach this year, and so they got a new defensive scheme, new offensive scheme. So there's a learning curve there for them too, because they got new coordinators, so they're learning too. So good for us that we're catching them early on. But this is a game that we feel like we have a chance here at home. We feel good about our game plan this week going against them, and hopefully we'll come out and execute and come out with a win here at the first home game.
Bernie's one of those teams we talked about last week. It's a rivalry game. We've been playing Bernie for years and years, and you can throw rankings out the door. You can throw everything out the door as far as what you've done in the past. I'm sure these guys are ready to go now against these guys, because it's always a tough game, and they're always up to the rally on this thing here.
Well, this is Bernie. You mentioned we played them years and years, and these are the kids that we've grown up with playing pony baseball against, and they've seen each other's names on their backs for years and years, and so you go into a game like this, and it's one that I'm sure that the guys really can get up for. Matter of fact, next couple of weeks, they shouldn't have a problem getting up for the next couple of games.
No, and the other point, when we were checking the scores at halftime, we had saw the score between Yoakum and Bandera, and we had known that Yoakum was state ranked and so was Bandera. Did that score catch you by surprise, or is that something after looking at the film you could see why Bandera pulled away at the end of the game against Yoakum?
Okay, no, it wasn't Bandera.
I mean Bernie. Excuse me. Bernie.
He was watching another game.
Yeah.
But not that one.
Okay, I was confused now. Say it again now. I was thinking Bandera.
When you saw the score, the outcome of the Bernie game, did that surprise you?
Yeah, and our little pick'ems too. I picked Yoakum. I mean, they were ranked number 9, and I was thinking, Bernie's going to be a little down this year, and that's what I was hoping, because they lost a lot of kids. And I was surprised to see the score. But then I also found out later on that Yoakum had lost a lot of their players from last year, and they were going to be down. So they were kind of in a rebuilding mode. So that made me feel a little bit better. But nonetheless, 47-27. Bernie's got a good reputation. They got a good program over there. Got good athletes. So, we've got to be ready for these kids, and we got to bring our A game Friday night.
Well, you may even get your wish. It may be raining and it may be sloppy. And we even thought that at halftime in Waco. The rain started coming, but the only thing we thought about is, well, there's not natural grass on this field, so the field's going to drain a little bit, so the footing may not be as treacherous as it will at home.
Right. We believe that the nastier the conditions, the better it is for us. So we tell our kids that the rain is our friend, and we hope the wind blows hard and all that good stuff. We have the offense we think that can go against those conditions, and it's to our advantage, I think, mentally. And of course, our grass field, Matter of fact, Coach called me and was asking if we wanted to play the freshman games over there tomorrow, play all 3 games over there, so we wouldn't tear up the field tomorrow night. And of course, I said no, we're
Absolutely not.
we tear it up tomorrow night. That's fine for me.
The more torn up, the better.
Yeah.
And water the field again before the
I was
game.
going to say, and I think we have connections where we can make the field a little wetter than normal, you know.
I didn't hear that.
All right, Coach. Well, hey, we sure do appreciate you stopping by, and we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break, and we're going to bring these young men up here and visit with them for a few minutes. But thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. My pleasure.
Want to take us to commercial, Maury?
With that said, we are sponsors of break. You're listening to Sports for Supper, Medina Valley Broadcasting Network.
Visit mvbn.net for great articles on all your favorite coaches, players, and more at mvbn.net, the official website of the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
At North Park Chevrolet in Castroville, we offer the most exceptional experience in sales and service. Shop our large new and pre-owned selection with complimentary maintenance on new vehicles, upfront posted pricing, 10-day trade-in appraisal guarantee, and a 48-hour return policy. Our factory-trained technicians will take care of you after the sale with easy menu pricing, courtesy units, and a complimentary car wash with every service. Come see us at 1955 Highway 90 East or call 218-641-3184. Shop us online or schedule service at mpchevy.com. Experience Chevrolet, the North Parkway.
You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
All right, welcome back to the Medina Valley Broadcast Network Sports Show. Okay, we're gonna bring in a couple of the young men now, young players here for Medina Valley Panthers.
Jeff, before we do that real quick, I want a quick shout out to Sammy's Restaurant here for hosting us again for the second week in a row. They've really accommodated us really good. The food and drink here is always great. I just want to thank them again for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you to Sammy's and Duran for hosting, having us come in here. And they also, provide some nachos for the athletes that come in, little snack after practice. We appreciate that. And there were some specials too, Maury, that you read off last week. Do you have those specials again?
The weekly specials are Monday night is the enchiladas, Tuesday night is the grilled chicken sandwich, Wednesday night is the chicken fried steak, Thursday night is all of their quarter-pound burgers, and Friday night is the shrimp. So Monday through Friday, anytime after 5 o'clock, and they also have a weekly special that's all week, and this week it is the 3 tacos. So,
all right. Thank you for that. And they do have drink specials and other specials along the lines. If you ever want to come into Sammy's, have a nice meal. We appreciate Sammy's for hosting us. We're going to introduce right now a few of the big guys up front. Spencer Payne is one of them. Yancey Miller, who plays, Yancey, you're the guard. Spencer is the center. And Edward Roya, right? Edward, what position are you? Tackle. Strong tackle, weak tackle? Strong tackle. Okay, so we got the right side and the center here. All right, so welcome, guys. So we're going to pass around the mic. Y'all got a mic. Y'all can hear us talking, I hope. We thank y'all, each one, for coming in. But tell us a little bit, guys, about, what grade are y'all in?
I'm a senior.
Senior?
I'm also a senior.
Senior.
And I'm a junior.
And a junior, okay. So tell us a little bit, Edward, since you have the mic, about last week's game. Just tell us the experience. What was it like traveling 3 hours up to Waco? Waco's known for a lot of great high school athletes have come out of the Waco high system. So
we were feeling confident on the way there. The surprises hit us in the face. We learned a lot from the game. Move on, learn from it.
Yeah,
take it off.
One thing that we didn't mention with Coach Sosa is, the most improvement is always from game 1 to game 2. So, going into game 2 that, there's going to be tons of improvement, and we're looking forward to seeing, better blocking, better tackling, and just everything that goes along with the game of football. Ball control, that we talked last week with Coach about running the slot T and doing everything perfect, so that you can control the game, you can control the clock, you can take the wind out of the ball, the air out of the ball, so to say. So, it was a great. We enjoyed going up there watching you guys. It was a lot of fun watching you guys. Of course, we would have hoped the outcome would have been a little different, but I think you learned a lot from the game. So,
yeah, and that's kind of why you play your non-district game first, get your feet wet and try to figure out what you got to do in the future and get ready for district. And I think that's kind of what we did this first week.
All right, Spencer, question for you. I played center as a sophomore. Has anybody ever told you that most important part of the game is snapping the ball? Okay, because it is, right? You got to get the play started, right? You got to be able to snap the ball. Tell me about how, when you go to the gun, how do you grip the ball? Is it a different grip for you? Do you grip it the same way?
No, I hold it the same.
Same way with the threads all the time, or?
I don't use the threads.
Okay, so you want to give the quarterback the threads. All right, absolutely. Okay, tell us about what you expect to see this next week coming up with Bernie. What have you seen on video?
Well, they're not as fast as Waco, and they're not as big as Waco, and I don't know. I feel like we're coming into this game pretty confident. So.
Great, coming into the game confident.
Spencer, last year you were on the varsity, right, as a sophomore. Are you feeling more confident this year now you got some games under your belt?
For sure.
I mean, your size, you've gotten a lot bigger, and I'm sure you know the game a little bit more. So I would imagine that you feel a bit more confident going into this next few games and going into the district. Is that how you feel?
Yes, sir.
Good. And I mean, we have a few other sophomores too that played last year. Another one, like I guess across the ball from Trace Ferguson had a good game this last week. So you guys, as younger guys, learning from the older guys, should be really confident and ready to go here.
Yes, sir.
The center is the captain or quarterback without the quarterback. Your job is to tell your linemen, the other 3-4 linemen with you, what your blocking scheme is before the play.
Yes, sir.
And if quarterback changes, you're in charge of punching the guard and the tackle back and forth. Give me a basic play call.
Okay, so I guess our bread and butter is 234.
And what is your goal? What is your job on 234?
I go get linebacker.
You go get the linebacker, no matter where he's at.
No matter where he's at.
What if you got a straight up zero?
Well, then I block him.
There you go.
The offense is it's an old cliche. The offense is always takes a little longer to gel than the defense. And in the first half, I didn't see any signs of that. You guys were opening holes, and James was just plowing through them. What changed in the second half? Was the alignment different? What were they doing different from the first half?
Well, I think we came out and we had great energy and we played as a team. And I don't know what happened after halftime, but the energy it wasn't there, and we were making little mistakes, and it wasn't working.
But with the mental mistakes, there's always correction. That is something that's easy. The false starts, that's something we take for granted up in the crowd. It's a lot different when you're down there centering the ball and you got a 350-pound defensive tackle lined up on your right side and another one on the left. It makes a big difference. People don't understand when you're in the trenches, what it is. When the false starts were occurring, what was the miscommunication? What was the problems?
Usually it was we try and go on two and jump off sides.
So just discipline.
Yeah, just discipline.
Okay.
Which will get better.
Yeah, that's your early season stuff.
That's absolutely. That's one of the first things that goes, and it'll come faster or slower, a little bit slower. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to Yancey here. Got a couple of questions about. So you're the strong guard.
Yes, sir.
All right. So as a strong guard in the slot T, you're going to be pulling a lot on the buck sweeps and stuff like that, right?
Yes, sir.
One of the issues that I noticed the other night was on the sweeps was, our running backs, it seemed like, weren't really reading you or reading their lead block or the blocks as well. Can you take us through one of your sweep plays and what your responsibility is, and what are you? What is the coach telling the running back to look for as you carry out your assignment?
Well, when we're running a sweep away from my side, he is supposed to be on my back, and I'm supposed to lead block for him and everything. And our first threat is first man, first color. First color we see, we pick up that guy, and he is supposed to go around us and try to get more yards if he can. And if it's sweep to my side, I'm supposed to kick out, and he's supposed to follow the backside guard, then pull up and follow backside guard.
Okay, and do you ever hear a coach saying, look for daylight, or read his rear end, or you ever hear anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell us about your pass blocking. So we have sprint outs, we have the throwbacks. I'm not sure what terminology coach uses, but tell us some of your responsibilities on the waggles. Y'all call it waggle? When both guards pull on your passes? Okay. You could probably bootlegs. Okay. Tell us what your responsibility is. You're the backside guard on a bootleg.
My responsibility there is to make sure nobody's coming inside off the edge, make sure that quarterback is safe when he's coming back around, that he just doesn't get drilled by one of their defensive ends or even their DTs. If one of them gets their DTs get through, I'm supposed to pick him up, help that quarterback out the best I can, and make sure he doesn't just get killed back there in the backfield.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
I got a question for you guys. How do you like the new uniforms? They look pretty cool. Y'all like them?
Yeah.
With the lettering down the legs and everything, I think they look pretty cool. Do you know when y'all going to get emblems on the helmets coming up?
I think so.
Y'all have to earn those?
I think we get those at district play.
At district play, okay, because I had a lot of questions. Are they going to be like that?
I'm sorry, correction. We get them after the first win.
After the first win, so hopefully we'll be running on Monday, huh?
Yes,
we'll get them on the helmet Monday? Well, y'all look good out there, and the best of luck to y'all. Y'all have any more questions?
What other sports?
Do it.
Yes, do you play any other sports for the
last year
Panthers?
I didn't, but this year I'm planning to join the swim team after football season's over.
Good. Wow. Offensive lineman on the swim team.
That's awesome.
Over there.
That's awesome.
Any other sports?
I do powerlifting. That's about it. After football season.
Any aspirations after school, after high school?
I'm gonna join the Army after high school.
Oh wow!
Good
awesome.
for you.
Bless
Good
you.
for you.
Yeah.
So, Coach Alvarado, does he pump y'all up before the weightlifting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Gives a speech.
My niece told me all about those last year. So there you go.
Spencer, what about you?
I do powerlifting, and I throw discus and shot put.
And you eat a lot, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And
I'm sure all three of y'all do.
There's still some nachos.
There's still some nachos behind you guys if y'all want to dig in here as soon as we get done.
We thank you guys for coming out, but we're gonna go ahead and bring the girls up here and Coach Griggs and talk a little volleyball. So we appreciate you guys,
young
and
men.
good luck to you.
Good luck,
Thank
Friday.
you, Coach Sosa. We're gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Maury, take us to break.
You are listening to Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant, Panther Sports Talk Show. MV Broadcasting Network will return after these commercials.
Look for the Medina Valley Broadcast Network on Facebook. Like us, and you'll always get the latest on Panther sports and news from MVBN.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleThunting.com. You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
He's pretty awesome. Welcome back to Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant. Just had a conversation with the head football coach, Coach Sosa, and three of the offensive linemen, Spencer Payne, Edward Roya, and Yancy Miller. So now it's the volleyball girls' time. Head coach Disa Griggs, welcome.
Thank you, Maury.
Going to turn it over to our volleyball specialist, Mr. Dwayne Garza.
All right.
You learn as you go, more. You learn as you go. Let's talk some Panther volleyball. As you can tell, Coach Griggs, I got a little excitement in my voice.
Yeah.
Your record now is 18-5. You're 3-0 in district. Last time we talked, we were 1-0 in district. So you came off two district wins. Friday night, last Friday, a district win over Southwest Legacy Titans, and you won that match 3-0. And then Tuesday, which was last night, a huge win over the Southwest Dragons. Very exciting game. Won 3-2. I would assume that y'all were really pumped up after that game.
Yes, we were. It was. I didn't realize we played for almost 3 hours. You just kind of lose track of what's going on. We did not start off with our best game. It wasn't our best game in general, but we really weren't ourselves the first match. Our first set. We rotated sides, so that one side, whoever was on that one side won every single set until the 5th set. And then we opted to pick serve and not side. And so, being the smart girls that they are, Megan Hahn said, guys, this side is just like the other side, except it's on this side. So it doesn't matter what side of the net we're on, as long as we have first serve.
Smart girl.
And the ball still goes the same.
And I tell you what, that match was like a heavyweight fight because it was just punch after punch. Southwest struck first, and with the first blow, and they won the first match. Medina came back, won the second match. Southwest came back, won the third match. Medina came back, won the fourth, and then they hit the final knockout blow on the fifth set to win for the night. It was a great victory. We saw a couple things different, and here I'm going to test my volleyball knowledge. It looked like you were running with a 5-1 offense.
Yes.
Versus what, a 6-2, what we typically do?
Right. So 5-1 means your setter, the same setter setting all the way around.
We're going to teach some of these people about volleyball.
Right. So
go ahead and explain that.
means that you have the setter always coming out of back row. So you have 3 hitters at the net at all times. So with a left-handed 5-10 setter, and we have our other setter who's injured, Cameron can do things offensively that like a 5-4 setter couldn't do because she can get up and get over the net and attack the second ball over.
So that kind of decision was injury-based.
It is injury-based, yes.
Well, it worked. It definitely worked. So and you mentioned Megan Hahn's name. She's back, and she looked really strong yesterday.
I was really impressed. Monday she came to us out of practice, and she looked good. She didn't complain. So she's ready to go.
Great. Glad that she's back. Kyla Solis, any word on when possibly we may get her back, at least for a playoff run, maybe?
The initial report was 6 weeks with like a 2-week, weaning her in period. I haven't heard anything since then. So we're just going to keep our nose to the grindstone. We're going to keep working and be in the best position that we possibly can going into the playoffs.
If it's not broke, I'll fix it.
We just,
keep going.
One thing about these girls is they've weathered the storm for the past 2 years. So I really feel like, although we lost 50 games in those 2 years, they were learning experiences. So there was many times throughout the course of the season and last night when we lost the third set 28-26. That would have made us crawl in a hole last year. Like we would have been, we went extra, we had a chance to beat them, and we didn't. And 5th set, we jump out 4-0 thinking we are fixing to tear them up. And then all of a sudden they're up 5-4. So I think, I guess it's the whole thing by something by fire. I think we've been thrown in the fire so much that, we're used to it.
Couple of cliches.
Yeah.
A wounded animal is always the most dangerous, and you play with the hand that's dealt to you.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, trying times the last couple of years. You as a coach, and us as fans, we felt every loss.
Right.
I mean, if you didn't, you weren't a fan of Medina Valley. I mean, it was just, God, we just couldn't get over the hump.
Right.
We would jump out ahead, and then all of a sudden, you look up and we're down by 2 points.
Right.
And you talk about the game against Southwest Tuesday. I guess you could kind of say it was normal to come out flat a little bit because Friday night it was lights out.
Yeah.
I'm getting the scores from your husband Derek in between the games, and they weren't even close.
Right.
So take the good with the bad, but it's normal to come out a little slow after you've just whipped somebody pretty bad.
Right. And they did a good job. They refocused and prevailed.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your training program. I know we always talk, there's a lot of emphasis on football and their training and stuff, but you guys work out just as hard. I mean, you guys are in the weight room, you guys are conditioning. Explain to us a little bit what you guys do to get yourselves ready.
Well, as a girls program, we've really tried to make them the best athlete as they possibly can be, because although we're 5A, in a school setting, athlete-wise, we are not 5A. So we've got the same kid playing from August 1 into May. And so we do try to get in the weight room 2 times a week when we're in season, and when they're not in season, they're 3 days a week. And we do a lot of, jumping work, because we're not the biggest team, but, if you can add 18 to 21 inches on top of whatever we are, you can be successful.
Well, that's going to help with injuries, too. I know we're a little under the weather right now as far as injuries go, but the football team they've played 1 game, and you've got 23 games under your belt this season. So, I mean, that's got to help some, too, is helping with your injuries. So.
Well, and we're deep, because, you sit one down and you got another one to go in, and you ask someone, hey, I need you to go from left back and be a right back. Like Olivia Garza, she's played left back for us, but now we're down a setter, so she just jumped into the right back position.
Well, yeah, same goes for McCool. McCool is thrown into the setter position, and you got to be a little flexible, and you got to be good. You got a good group of girls that are very athletic and talented. And not only that, like you said, they're smart.
Yeah, they are smart.
Well, upcoming this Friday,
Huge game.
The Flames not down. They're going to get put right back into the fire again. Big test at home. Am I dead? We got a big test at home. You have a match against one of the Northside ISD teams, the Harlan Hawks. They're a new team this year, and they've kind of come out on fire. I looked them up. Their record is 16-11 right now, and they're 4-0 in district. So far, they've beaten Floresville, Uvalde, Southside, and Somerset. And the thing that I saw, they have not lost a set yet in district.
No.
So it seems like that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. What do you know about them?
They're middle driven, so they are going to run a lot out of the middle. That's where they're going to score their points. They're not going to run a fast offense like Uvalde. If you notice, they were trying to set that quick ball and try to get the ball over the net before a block was up. They're not going to do that as much. They're going to rely a lot on their first middle to score a lot of the points and try to get ahead. And while she's in the back row, just try to maintain until she gets in the front row again. They're athletic, don't get me wrong. There's a reason why they haven't dropped us. She's never going to come off the floor, no. But unlike Southwest, they went to number 5 when she was in the back row too.
Yes.
To try to get some points out of her wherever she was on the floor.
So this Friday is against the Harlan Hawks, and then we follow that up with Tuesday before we meet here again. Tuesday you'll be at Eagle Pass Win. So we've got a little bit of some traveling to do for Tuesday, and that's kind of the opposite end. Eagle Pass Win is 0-3 in district, and their record is 2-10. So, but you never know with those with volleyball. I mean, you could be down one minute, the next minute you're flying high. So you've got to be on top of your game. But we need to get through Friday first.
Yes, we do.
Friday's going to be a tough one. So all you guys listening out there, that's this Friday, and that's going to be at home. JV and freshmen will be playing at 5 o'clock, followed by the varsity, which will be a 6 o'clock match. So hope to see you guys out there. You guys have any other questions for Coach Griggs?
I'm a novice here at volleyball. When a player is on the back row,
mm-hmm.
they cannot come up to the net and set and spike.
They can't. They cannot attack a ball in front of the 10-foot line.
Okay.
They can.
So there's another line there, Maury, that no one ever pays attention if you don't know?
You can take off behind the 10-foot line and travel in front of it as you're hitting, but you just can't attack it in front of the 10-foot line.
My other question, and I watch it and I still ain't figured it out. The officiating, the lifts. How do they call that? Because it looks good to me, but what are they doing wrong when they call lifting?
Well,
on the
it's
ball?
either prolonged contact. So either the ball is sitting on your arm too long, or it rolls up your arm. So it's like forearm to bicep, perhaps, or maybe you're like carrying it as you're passing. So like you're holding onto the ball too long, like it's on your arm for a longer period than it needs to be.
Judgment.
It's judgment. So it's a double. You know, it's obvious when the ball is colored because it'll spin. So most schools go with a colored ball because it's easier to pick up a double. When you play with a white ball, unless you have a really good official, they're not going to call a double with a white
So
ball.
that could be a home field advantage or a home court advantage if you know you've got a setter coming in that's
right.
known
Well,
to
in our district minutes, you
do
have to
that.
play with a colored
Oh,
ball.
you have a district.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, Maury, that kind of floors me, though, that you have those kind of questions. I thought when we were in the backyard over at Scott, your brother's house, for years we played volleyball, and I thought you learned all those rules when we played over there down 471 at your brother's old house. You don't remember all those rules from then?
Jeff, the last time before Lisa became the coach, the last time I watched volleyball, you had to serve to get a point. Okay? So,
Okay.
it's changed a bunch.
Has changed.
I've got a question for Coach Griggs. So, you brought one of your 7th grade coaches along this evening, and I'm interested in the 7th grade because I have a 6th grader now, and I'd like to know if your 7th grade coach here can she tell us a little bit about what to expect in 7th grade volleyball?
Well, this is a nice surprise, Jeff.
So everybody, Tricia Hurtado.
Hello, everybody. Okay, to answer your question, what do the girls need to be prepared to do for like 7th grade tryouts? I know y'all just had 7th grade tryouts. We did just have 7th grade tryouts.
First of all, Coach, are you excited to be here for coaching this year?
I am so excited to be coaching. I've grown up in a gym, basically, and my girls are part of the program and have been. My son, I've been around it forever, and so to actually wear this hat it's an honor, and I'm excited.
Glad to have you.
And I feel like the kids are just they work hard. They work hard. So not only do I get to coach, but I get to coach at Medina Valley, and so that's a win-win for me. So I would say, Jeff, if I have to pick what could kids practice on to help them, kind of developmentally be ready in 7th grade, I would say passing and serving the ball overhand. I think those are 2 big key roles in a 7th grade game. I don't know, it's probably been a while since you've been to a 7th grade volleyball match, but it all comes down to serving. And if you can get your ball over the net, there's a good chance you're going to score a point.
That's great. Great advice. Thank you. And I guess that's what Coach Griggs will be looking forward to in the program. To have them serve, have them pass, and eventually let's have them spike and block at the net, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thank you, Tricia. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a quick break, real quick. We're on a break here, but when we come back, we're gonna have 2 of the Panther stars. Maury?
We'll be back. Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant, sponsored by Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Let's get social. Like Medina Valley Broadcast Network on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at MVBroadNet and visit the official website at mvbn.net. Get the latest and join the conversation about all things Medina Valley sports. Come on, let's talk.
Here at Medina Valley Broadcast Network, we love all sports. We currently broadcast football, volleyball, basketball, softball, and baseball. We not only serve Medina Valley, we also can broadcast other schools in the area in multiple sports. If your business is interested in having us broadcast a single game or a season, and you want to be part of the action, contact Jeff Stivers at 830-931-4504 or email him at jeff@mvbn.net. You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant. Interesting interview with Coach Disa Griggs and Coach Tricia Hurtado. Now, Dwayne, we're going to turn it over to 2 of the stalwarts on the volleyball team, Cameron Griggs and Hannah Hurtado.
Y'all are cousins, right?
Yes, sir, we are.
How many fights have y'all gotten into playing so far?
0.
That's good,
We're
and you
on the
can see
same
that.
team usually.
Y'all have a lot of fun out there, and what I like to see is you guys smiling and laughing all the time when you're playing, especially y'all two since y'all are related, because I guess that could get ugly.
Yeah.
So Cameron, since you have a microphone, tell us your position.
Well, right now I'm setting all the way around, but usually I'm a setter and a hitter.
Okay, what does a setter do? We're going to educate a lot of these people on volleyball. Okay. So explain out there. We got a bunch of dummies out there, so explain to them what a setter does.
A setter normally gets the second ball, but sometimes you have to call help and whatnot. But they put up a ball to where their hitters can be successful and win the game for us, pretty much.
But then you're not only a setter, you're also a hitter, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a hitter is typically on the front row,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so ball comes over the net from a serve, we receive it, and at the same time we pass it, and the pass is hopefully directed to the setter. Is that correct? And
Hopefully.
The setter sets it up for a hitter.
Yes.
That's simple, right? Why can't we do that every time?
I know.
Yeah, so that's what you do, and you're a big part of the group because you're almost like a pitcher, or a catcher, or a quarterback, because you're always going to be touching the ball. I mean, everything goes through the setter, so it's a big part of it. So that's one of the reasons why you don't go out of the rotation. Is that correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, you're one of our better players. I know you're being a little bit modest, but I don't know that how good it would be without you out there. So, and I know you've been battling a little bit of the injury bug, but hopefully you're getting better.
Yeah. Slowly but surely.
What determines who you set the ball for?
Usually whoever's on, but if the passes aren't good enough to set the middles, then I'll have to do something with the ball. But I usually set someone until they get shut down, and then I'll move on to a different person.
So you have to have eyes in the back of your head. If they got a big gal in the middle,
Yeah, to see what's open.
Your vision has to be, you see what's open before you get the set, and then you set accordingly.
Yeah, whatever is given to us on the other side of the court.
However, Maury, sometimes she gets very sneaky, and instead of setting it, she pushes the ball over the net, and a lot of times it drops in for a point.
That counts.
So you've got to have a smart setter
If
also.
the ball hits the floor on the other side inside that square, it's a good thing.
As far as I know, that's what happens, yeah. That's how it works.
Okay.
All right, Hannah Hurtado, what is your position, Hannah?
I'm an outside.
And what does an outside do?
I hit on the left side of the court.
So you're pretty much on the you're an outside left side, right? On the left side.
Yes.
And so even though your rotation moves you always fall back to that position, correct? Most of the time?
Most of the time.
Okay. Most of the time, and you're one of the typically the ones that receive the set from the setter.
I try to get the set.
Y'all work really well together, and last night y'all had some really good sets and hits last night. And I keep going back to this game that we played last night, and y'all were very animated last night, especially towards the end when you knew y'all had a chance to come back. So you could tell that you guys are really into it and really wanted that win last night. So upcoming, Harlan, y'all ready for Harlan?
Yes.
Now, have you played against any of those girls? Because I know a lot of y'all play club volleyball. So y'all know some of these girls. So it's kind of like cheating a little bit, isn't it? That you know what they do and you've seen them before. Do you know any girls on that team?
I have never played against it.
Never played any of them before? What about you, Cameron?
No, I have not.
Okay, well then it's going to be a new
challenge.
It's going to be a new challenge for you guys.
Well, I know the coach real well, Coach Garza, and she's tough. So y'all better bring your A game. Huh? I couldn't hear you.
We try to bring our A game every game, but sometimes it's a little slower than others. Yeah. Sometimes it's an A minus.
Oh, A minus.
Hey, if A minus gets you a win, we'll take it.
Yeah.
All right? It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
What was the final score of the last game?
It was 15-12.
Wow. Were you ever behind?
Yes, we were when it was 5-4.
5-4.
Yeah, I think all 5 sets they were behind, and they were just trading punches the whole time. More, it was crazy.
Tell me, girls, I got a question for y'all. I've watched y'all grow up, okay? I've seen y'all with my daughter, Kirsten. And tell me how over your middle school years and now your first 2 years going on your third year of high school. How did your passion for volleyball come around? How did that grow inside you? Because I know in middle school y'all played everything, right? And y'all played softball, before middle school. How did your passion for volleyball? Was it because your parents were into volleyball, or did y'all just figure out that y'all loved the game?
Well, I always really enjoyed going to practice and playing the game, but when I went into high school, my main goal was just to play for my aunt and to be successful while playing.
That's awesome.
Great answer.
Wait, what was the question? I forgot.
I can't repeat it all, but basically, how did your love of volleyball come around?
Well,
because your mom played college basketball.
yeah.
So tell me
She's
how.
weird. I don't know how she ended up being the volleyball coach.
We had that discussion and we found out last week.
I think their answer is those two girls are very competitive. I think if you got a game of marbles out there, they would try to do their best and try to win. So
Yeah, we're tired of losing.
They're
that's
very
for sure.
competitive.
I would not know because we don't have mean kickball games at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Well, that's great. I'm glad you all came out here today, and I'm glad y'all
Thanks for coming out. Oh.
What other sports? Y'all just play volleyball or y'all play something else?
I play basketball and I did run track, but I'm not really sure about this year though.
And I play basketball and I throw discus and
So is basketball in the cards this year?
it's definitely an option.
got a new coach. We're hoping we're going to have him on here at one point during the course of these.
Cameron, how about you? Basketball in the mix this year?
Definitely gonna
Good.
be in the mix.
And y'all are both juniors, so I mean we got a lot to look forward to. You guys are gonna be here the rest of the year, and we got all the next year to watch you guys, and y'all just gonna get better.
Yes, sir.
Can
We'll try.
y'all help talk my daughter into playing more sports?
Yeah, we can do our best.
Please.
I want to say thanks for coming out, and good luck to y'all for this next game. It's gonna be a big one, and good luck on Tuesday also before we get to talk to y'all again.
Thank you.
Good luck, girls. Thank you, Disa.
Thank you, Coach Griggs. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Coach Hurtado.
Thank you, Trish.
Thanks, everybody. We're going to go ahead and take another quick break. This is the
Sports for Supper talk show at Sammy's Restaurant, sponsored by Medina Valley, your Medina Valley Broadcasting Network.
Follow us on Twitter at MVBroadnet. Tweet and retweet MVBroadnet for MVBN.
Sammy's Restaurant and Haley's Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Haley's Alsatian Bakery a must-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Haley's Alsatian Bakery, online at haleysbakery.com. You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant. Medina Valley Broadcasting Network streaming live.
A couple of shout-outs, Maury. I want to shout out to Les over in the booth helping us out, doing a great job producing us right now.
Absolutely.
We've had some difficulties, some technical difficulties here. We've got a new mixing board, and we're kind of testing it out on you guys, but I want to thank Les for helping us out over there. And also another shout-out to Sammy's. Let's give them a shout-out for hosting us.
Dwayne, let's remind people that the reason that we are testing this new equipment out is because in the future we are going to have the capability of broadcasting at the same time from two different spots.
Two live games.
Two live games
So,
going on
and we-
simultaneously. We'll have volleyball going on while the football game's getting started. We'll have two basketball games, the boys in one town and the girls in another. We'll have them both going on. Same for baseball and softball. So we do have a second set of equipment, and we're testing it and trying to get it all working. And we appreciate everybody sticking with us tonight as we have had a little bit of technical difficulty.
Yeah, and real quick, Jeff, before we leave leave volleyball, I'd like to let everyone know out there we're probably going to broadcast the Floresville game coming up Tuesday, September 18th at 6 o'clock, and it'll be at Floresville. So you guys that can't make the Floresville match, we'll be broadcasting it, and as different from football, we're going to have video. So you'll be able to watch and listen to us broadcast that game over in Floresville. And we're going to try to do probably four or 5 games before the end of the season, and as we get towards the end where the district competition is starting to get fast and furious, that's when we want to kind of try to broadcast in the games, and if they happen to make the volleyball, then their playoffs, and we're going to go into that.
We will have sponsorships available separate for volleyball playoffs.
That's right.
We will have volleyball playoff sponsorship, so hopefully once our girls qualify for the postseason, we will be sending out to local businesses. It'll be on our website that sponsorships will be available for volleyball playoffs.
And at the rate Coach Griggs is getting wins, we'll know pretty quick when we qualify for
we'll know pretty quick.
Which is a good thing.
Absolutely,
And
that's a great thing.
So we look forward to a lot of wins for them. And like I said when we started out talking about volleyball, it's exciting. It's exciting to get some wins. The program has not been favorable this last few years, and it looks like they've kind of turned the corner.
Yeah, I think they were building.
Yes.
I think they were building to what they have currently. And, it takes time, Dwayne, and we've been 5A back and forth, for several years now, but we've really never hit that point of growth that we are actually there. Like, what do we have now, 1,400 students in the high school?
Yes.
We're just getting to the point where we have 1,400, whereas Kerrville, Tivy, and Bernie, Champion, and Alamo Heights, they've been up there for several years, and so they've built their programs in this division, whereas now we're finally starting to catch up to them a little bit. We've been doing real well in baseball. We've been doing, well in we made the playoffs last year in football. So things are starting to come together. Well, and it's exciting times for Medina Valley and the growth of Medina Valley.
Coach Griggs and Coach Sosa both reiterated that we are 5A classification-wise, kids-wise, but the selection in the sports is a lot different than you do not have. We as this community do not have as many people, young kids, young men and young women to pick from to build up a program. So when you have something like this going right now, and Medina Valley is headed in the right direction right now with Coach Griggs being the athletic quote, not in
girls athletic
just in terms of the athletic director in the girls sports, and Coach Sosa in the boys. You have your leadership, you have your people on top that you need. Now we're working to build up the others and move forward.
Absolutely. Let's I'm starting to get some feedback now. Okay, so I'm better now. But you're absolutely right, Maury, and a lot of the youth programs that we have in the area. We've had soccer now for several years. We've had, obviously, baseball and softball for many years. We did have another Pony World Series team this past year that won the World Series. So, softball's there. Baseball's always been there. Our basketball, we have we used to call it the St. Louis Basketball League. So, the youth sports in our area is really picking up too. And with the growth that we're experiencing out Petrenko way, we're going to start bringing in a lot of those kids and hoping that we take everything to the next level, whatever we do. And, one of the biggest things we always talk about, Maury, is parent participation. And one of the best ways you can participate as a parent in the youth sports around here is to get involved. Be involved with the Soccer Association. Be involved with the Medina Valley Youth Baseball Association. We do have a baseball meeting coming up this next weekend, and we're going to be,
preparing for next year.
We're going to be having board member elections and stuff coming up. Get involved, but the number one way you can get involved right now with the high school and with the middle schools, Loma, Alta, and Medina Valley Middle School, is to join the Booster Club, the Sports Booster Club. They're always looking for people. They have lots of activities going on that they need support with. They run a lot of the concessions. They have a raffle going on. They have all kinds of different activities that you can get involved in, and that's the number one way to be a parent and support our Medina Valley athletes.
Yeah, and if you can't volunteer, the concession stands are one way to help us out. the concession stands, the T-shirts and the caps, and all the stuff that you see for sale at the games. That's all part of the sports boosters, and that's one way you can support the athletic programs here at Medina Valley.
And Dwayne, one thing, once we get this program off and this talk show off and running, one thing that you wanted to add to it is the community corner section, to where we bring one of the old timers back, and I hope they don't get offended when I say old timers. One of the guys that were sitting down at the table when they said, okay, we're going to create Medina Valley. We're going to join these 3 towns, and we're going to create it. And that's something that we're going to bring in the future. Another thing that Dwayne had that was a good idea is postcards from home. We want to get texts and information from people that are from the kids that have graduated, that are playing college sports now, because we want to keep the community up to date. And just to bring one young man up, and he graduated last year, but Jonathan Grove,
absolutely,
if people don't know his career, Jonathan Grove started out at Tyler Junior College, was the pitcher of the year in junior college, won a World Series in the junior college ranks, and then as a senior at New Mexico State, he was the WAC pitcher of the year, set the record at New Mexico State for wins, and also for the first time in a long time, New Mexico State made it to the Lubbock Regionals, where Johnny pitched in it. So, we mentioned Miss Mangold, who graduated from San Angelo State. This is the same class, and Jeff, you had mentioned they get there because of our youth programs.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Grove was one of those young men that made it to the Pony World Series the year that they went.
Yep.
So the community doesn't realize what the youth programs are about and how strong they are.
And it's just not about football and baseball either. I know we've got some girls playing college soccer right now. I know we got a girl at Trinity right now. We got a young lady also, Sol Ross, playing right now. So it's just not about that.
Well, here in a couple of years, we hope to have some swimmers.
Yes.
Well,
and some good swimmers.
Swimming. All right, that's it's just as we grow, we grow.
Yeah, and before we move on, Jeff, just a couple of quick notes. Football and volleyball aren't the only sports going on right now. We also have fall tennis going on right now, and they had their first district match last week, and they fell with Floresville by 1 point, 9-10.
That's team tennis.
That is team tennis. That is fall team tennis, and that you don't hear much about our tennis sports, but that's growing too. There's a lot of kids out there. And we've also got cross country. Cross country, from what I understand, there's like 70 runners now competing this year. So we've got quite a few, and I think that might include both the middle school and the varsity. And they're getting ready to get going. And that they have a competition this Saturday at Hondo, and on September 15th here at home, I think they're going to have our first ever invitational meet. Middle and high school both will be competing in that. So we need to support our cross country and our fall tennis and all the other sports that you don't hear a whole lot about. And we just talked a little bit about swimming, but they're out there and they need support too. And it's really not all about football.
Does anybody know when
volleyball.
Swimming kicks off?
I think in October, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it a winter sport? I mean, since they're indoors, I'm not real familiar with the high school.
Well, we need to look into that, and we need to talk about those guys too, give them a little bit of opportunity.
Coach in the future to talk about a little bit about it, since I know we all have questions about it.
So Thursday, tomorrow, fall tennis will be at home against Harlan. So we're going to see Harlan twice this week. So they'll be playing at 4 p.m. here at the high school. So if you're around, you can support that. You can go right across the field there, and I believe we'll have freshman football also tomorrow.
Dwayne, you'll be traveling away tomorrow for your son Garrison's game. Where is that going to be?
That's going to be in Bernie. JV is playing, I believe, at 5:30 in Bernie, and then the freshman boys will be playing home. I believe at the same time at 5:30 against Bernie also.
And usually with the freshman group, knowing that it's Bernie, which has a pretty big football team, usually there's 2 games in the freshman, the A team and the B team,
there's an A team and a B
which
team.
was the case last week. So if it is an A and a B, the first game will start at 5 o'clock. The second game will start 15 minutes after. So it's hard to judge that second game according to a basic time because you never know how long the games are going to go. but roughly last week it started around 6:45.
You know, school just started, a week ago, and we're deep in the sports. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of activity, and we need to support all these programs.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, our Swami, our fantasy football Swami, is going to give us an update for this week as tomorrow night the NFL season gets kicked off, and I'm sure everybody wants to hear his stardom and situm lineup for this weekend. So when we come back, we'll hear from our guru Maury.
Look for the Medina Valley Broadcast Network on Facebook. Like us, and you'll always get the latest on April sports and news from MVBN.
Headed out to the game? Then make a stop at your local Valley Mart convenience store. With 12 area locations, Valley Mart is always right around the corner. Fuel yourself and your vehicle with quality branded gas and diesel, snacks, and fountain drinks. Always convenient, well lit with clean restrooms. Valley Mart, family owned and operated since 1984, and a proud supporter of Medina Valley Athletics and area youth sports for 30 years.
You're watching Medina Valley Sports. This is the Medina Valley Broadcast Network.
Did Ryan just text you?
Well, we're back. Hey, welcome back to the Sports
Welcome back
for
to
Supper.
Sports for Supper at Sammy's Restaurant.
And if anybody would like to know, I guess for right now, Maury's calling it Sports for Supper.
And we need to change that name. So that's
if you've got an idea.
It kind of has
go
a
ahead
ring to it, though. Sports for Supper at Sammy's.
It's a possibility. As soon as Jared gets back here from Mickey Mouse's house, we'll go ahead and vote on it and take a vote here with our crew. But we do have a bunch of suggestions, a few good ones. But so let's get some more coming in. Send them to our Facebook page, tweet them to me, or you can text them to me at 830-931-4504.
You have a gift certificate at stake for that too, don't we?
Yep, $25 gift certificate to Sammy's Restaurant.
So if you have a fantasy football
Get
question,
your
you need to
cheat
set your
sheets out.
lineup. You can text Dwayne or Jeff.
If you have any questions, we get your cheat sheets out because
Get your cheat
Maury's going to
sheets
give
out.
some information. What do you have for us this week, Maury?
This week, make sure you set your lineups early because there is a Thursday night game, and it is probably one of the best Thursday night football games we're probably going to see all year. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, your defending Super Bowl champions, against the Atlanta Falcons, who a lot of people have picked this year to maybe be there at the end. Philadelphia definitely is, but key injuries in those games. Carson Wentz is out. So Nick Foles is your starter. The Eagles are at home. They will be playing the Falcons. Starters for both games. For the Eagles, I would have a hard time starting any running backs because of the crowded backfield. If I would have to start one, it would be Jay Ajayi. But I'm not too sure about any of the other running backs. Alshon Jeffrey will be a factor in the passing game. But the receiver or the pass catcher that I'm looking forward to starting more is Zach Ertz, the tight end, number 86. He is going to be the weapon all night long for Nick Foles, who likes to dink and dunk. Nelson Aguilar, if you're in a deep league, a 14 team, a 12 team, you might plug him in the flex position. It all depends. You go to the opposite side of the board, and Matt Ryan is a borderline starter this year, depending on your other quarterback in one quarterback leagues. Got a tough challenge in the Philadelphia defense, but if he's your only quarterback, or you have him and you have somebody like Pat Mahomes who has a really tough matchup, then you go with the proven guy. You go with Matt Ryan. In the backfield, you're going to see a lot of Devontae Booker. Tevin Coleman will spell in for a little bit, but I don't see his role being that much as it was last year. Julio Jones, you've definitely got to have him in there. a surprise pick, which I'm overlooking Sanu and Taylor Gable's gone now, but the rookie Calvin Ridley is going to fill in just fine in that spot. And Dwayne, you're a Cowboys fan. When the draft was going on, and you have Calvin Ridley sitting there for you, who is just unbelievable from Alabama, and you have Van Der Esch there from Boise State. Who would you have wanted to see the Cowboys pick in that selection?
Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, that was a few years earlier.
The more you get deep into this stuff and these names, those young guys, it's hard for someone like me who doesn't get into it a whole lot. And that's kind of the mistake that I made drafting this year. I had to go with names that I knew. And that's one of the reasons why you're the guru here, because is these guys coming out of college and you know what they can do. You've done a little research on them. And I'll be honest, we had our draft this week, and I made a running back mistake. What did I do wrong, Maury?
I'm not saying you made a mistake, but knowing the situation with Le'Veon Bell and the trouble that he's had the 2 years before, they wanted to franchise him. He didn't take the offer, which that contradicts the policy that the players union has. If you're franchised, you play. And he's choosing not to play. And the bad thing about that situation is he's a free agent next year, but you have to play 6 games the previous year before you become a free agent. So he is looking to sit out till week 8.
Yeah, and I picked him. He was my number 1 pick.
And nobody at that time, his agent said he will be there. He'll be there Wednesday. He's going to suit up. He's going to play. Now it's totally different. And I hope for all you Lev Bell fans that you wasted a deeper round pick on James Conner. And what people don't realize about that young man is he battled cancer. He had Hodgkin's disease, and he battled cancer, and he fought back. And he is healthy now, and he's a good feeling. He's not Le'Veon Bell, don't get me wrong. But if this continues and it goes to 8 weeks, that's a big blow, and people take it all out of context because it's more than fantasy football for him. He don't really care whether you have him on your team or
that's right.
Joe has him on his team. It's all about the money and the way he was treated, and he don't feel like it's treated fair, which the players union says they gave you what you should. So I can see both ways, but it's one of those situations to where you draft what you got. And there's some other key players that are going to be sitting out this week. If you're a Marlon Mack fan for Indianapolis, the person to go after is Jordan Wilkinson, not Naheem Hines, who they drafted out of North Carolina State. He is more going to be in special teams. So Wilkins is the one to go after if you own a part of Marlon Mack. So
real quick, Maury, this is probably the last week of drafting. And say you have a late draft either tonight or tomorrow before the game. Tell me what your thoughts are on positions. In other words, who do you pick first? A running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and then how many of each would you pick on before you start changing to another position, or do you alternate?
My philosophy has always been, and even now more important than ever, you've just had one of your elite running backs sit out in Le'Veon Bell. So that limits you to maybe 5 bell cow running backs, which what I mean by bell cow is they're going to be out on the field for all 3 downs. You have Ezekiel Elliott, you have Todd Gurley, you have David Johnson, you have Alvin Kamara, and you have Kareem Hunt. And then you can't overlook the rookie Saquon Barkley. I don't know what their plans are, but he should be out there for all 3 downs. Then you get to the guys like Devontae Freeman, who are going to be out there first and second downs, and you may see Tevin Coleman, Joel Mixon. So it's got Giovanni Bernard in the third down.
You're telling me you're picking running back first.
Top 5, I'm going running back. 6 or later in a 10-team league, I'm going back-to-back wide receivers like a Julio Jones or Antonio Brown or a Beckham, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas you want to get 2 of those top, so that way when you come back around in your 3rd and 4th picks, then you get your 2 running backs. I'm always the kind where I don't want to pick a quarterback till the 7th or 8th round because I've just have never done it that way. But
So
some people reach.
A Dan Bailey in the 5th round's not a good pick, huh?
Well, especially when he doesn't even have a job right now. Meyer, I think, is the kicker that you need to target for the Dallas Cowboys.
All right.
Well, there you have it.
Let's move on to some more point spread stuff. Maury, tell me your thoughts on the Atlanta-Philadelphia game with Philadelphia a 3.5-point favorite at home.
I would take the road dog, the Atlanta Falcons. I would lay the 3.5.
I agree.
With ease. I know he was the Super Bowl MVP, but Foles just hasn't looked good at all in preseason.
All right. Buffalo at Baltimore. As Baltimore's 6.5-point favorite. And I know you're a Buffalo homer, but Baltimore at home with that defense.
I would lay the spread if it was 30.
Good. We're 2 for 2.
I would take Baltimore.
Cincinnati at Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a 2.5-point favorite at home with a quarterback that has been good in the past, coming off a year-long injury and has not looked good.
It's the Red Rockets year this year. Got to go with Cincinnati. Okay. Dwayne, the next 3 years.
I like to go college.
Well,
we're gonna college.
I know Jared's not here, and he's a big college guru. But let's talk about some local teams. UTSA and Baylor.
Ooh, ouch. Let's talk about UTSA and Arizona State, or do local people want to forget about that one already?
Yeah, and that, I guess the first couple of weeks of cupcake games is
Baylor's not as good as Arizona State, but it's going to be tough for UTSA to come off a loss like that.
Well, UTSA beat Baylor last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
At Baylor.
At Baylor with the first-year coach, new system. I really think what Matt Rule's doing up in Baylor is he's doing some good stuff. Although I don't think Baylor's ever going to get back to where they were. I think Baylor's going to be pretty good. They're going to have more athletes, and I just see Baylor with a chip on their shoulder coming into the dome and wreaking some havoc on UTSA. I'd love to see UTSA win. Yep. I'd love to have a Division I football program in San Antonio that we can go and root for and get behind. But I think it's going to be a tough chore this weekend.
Okay, what about Texas and Tulsa? What do you see there?
I see Texas coming back and winning big.
They need to.
If I don't know what the point spread is on that game, but if it's 30, I'd almost take it. I think Tulsa can score some points. I think Texas defense is going to be too much for them. I think they're going to, they're not as good. I think they were reading the papers. And I think Texas will come out and win that one.
And kind of like the Medina Valley football situation, Texas right now, if you're going to drop a game, let's drop that first game and get that behind you and start rolling. Yeah,
where rankings mean something.
Big game coming up Friday night already. You have TCU traveling to SMU. TCU is a 22.5-point favorite at SMU, and if I'm rolling the dice,
I'm taking SMU.
I'm taking the Frogs, baby.
Ooh, wow. SMU with that high-powered offense.
It was sure high-powered last week.
Except against a very good TCU defense, and that guy can coach defense. But you're saying TCU in 22, huh?
I would have to take TCU.
And I'm gonna do a homer thing here real quick. Texas State coming off a loss against Rutgers. Showed some signs of promise. Didn't have a good season last year. Texas Southern this week, and kind of the Texas thing playing Tulsa. Hopefully they'll have a big win and get some momentum going for the rest of the season.
You know what? I will take Texas State in that game because I know for a fact that last week Texas Southern beat a Division II, almost a startup program in Odessa Permian Basin. So
that's what we need right there.
Yeah, I think
we need more than 2 wins this year.
I think Texas State
that'll be one, hopefully.
They'll get one on this weekend.
Of course, I may be eating crow next week.
Well, they're 1AA too. You know, they're football subdivision. So
Big 12 SEC matchup once again. Kansas State hosting Mississippi State. Mississippi State traveling to Little Manhattan. Giving 8.5.
You know
to the Wildcats.
You know what I've noticed the past couple of years. You know, you have this SEC against Big 12 argument, and you know the SEC seems to win more of the games until bowl games. In the bowl games, the Big 12 has gotten the better of the SEC here as of late, last couple of years. So if we're looking at a regular season game, I'm saying Mississippi State may take that game.
Kyler Murray and the Oklahoma Sooners at home against the UCLA Bruins, laying 30.
Ooh, that's a lot of points, but UCLA did not look very good last week with their new head coach. You would think, like I said earlier in the high school section that we did, you would think that the most improvement comes between the first and second game. I just don't know if UCLA will improve that much, but that's still 30 points is a lot of points, but that Oklahoma offense looked damn good last week.
Y'all talked earlier about the Baylor UTSA game. Baylor is coming to the Dome, laying 16 points. I'm going to take the Roadrunners to the house all day long.
That'd be tough. You know, but we expected the Roadrunners to give Arizona State a better game too. But you know, once you looked at it and watched a little bit of that game, you could see that UTSA was really out-athleted, big time. So, yeah.
Here you go. Here's a good one. The Clemson Tigers traveling to Kyle Field to play the Texas A&M Aggies. Clemson is favored by 12.5.
Take it. I think Clemson's on a different level.
They do have one of the best defensive lines in the country. Probably 3 of them are going to be first round or second round picks. But I say Coach Jimbo Fisher has them ready to go. And those fans up there, I'm telling you one thing, there is not a fan base that gets behind a team, especially here.
There's no doubt.
It would be hard for me to lay that many points.
That's 2 touchdowns.
I know.
And, you know, here recently we've seen Texas A&M lose some of those games by multiple scores. I would have to
different regime.
I would have to take Clemson. Still the same kids.
Different coach. So,
well, that's it.
I'm taking A&M.
All right.
Well, let's round things up here a little bit. That's another great show that we've had. We've talked a little bit about everything, and just a quick reminder, tomorrow we got a lot of Medina Valley sports. We have fall tennis starting at 4 p.m. We have at 5 p.m. we have football with the freshmen playing at home. JV playing away at Bernie, and of course Friday night we have a big matchup against Harlan in volleyball at home, and then you can probably watch that and get to the football game by around the second quarter, and they'll be taking on Bernie also. And then Saturday morning, up early in the morning, where it looks like the cross-country team will be running at Hondo.
So what Dwayne's saying is, come over and watch Coach Griggs take care of the Hawks, and then come watch Coach Sosa and the Panther football team take care of the Greyhounds.
Yeah,
and that's a good recipe for a good weekend.
Yeah, that's right. And don't forget, mixed in there on Fridays, also the JV and freshman volleyball will be playing also.
Hey, so after the football game, stop by Sammy's.
Open late till 11 o'clock
on Friday
It's
nights.
a tradition. Wear your orange and black and come to Sammy's and have a cold one and a jumbo cheeseburger.
And one other thing for all you fantasy football people, be sure and set your lineups because the season starts tomorrow night with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons. For Jeff Stivers, Dwayne Garza, I am Maury Stein saying good night and God bless.